Alright, hey guys, I'm back for another Let's Talk episode. This is part 2 of my SMT um, Let's Talk. Sorry, I'm a little stuffy, allergies, so bear with me. I'm going to try and do my best. Now, I believe I left off, the only two things in the franchise that I have left to talk about are Digital Devil Saga and Persona. I'm going to say Persona for last because those were like the most recent ones that came out. So, alright, let's get right into Digital Devil Saga. What makes this game different from the other ones? Well, to start really quick, the battle system is the same. The same as what? Well, the exact same as Nocturne. There is nothing different about it. Nothing at all. Same exact freaking thing. What is that? Lazy. Lazy. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say. But the battle system is still fun, so you got to give it credit there. Now, most of you don't know that Digital Devil Saga was actually my first Shin Megami Tensei game. It was, for most people, it was Persona 3, because that's what made the series so popular over here. So it's basically the Final Fantasy 7 of Shin Megami Tensei. But unlike most people, my first one was Digital Devil Saga. I'm not going to go into the whole story, but alright. Now, what separates Digital Devil Saga from the other Shin Megami Tensei games is that it actually takes place in a post-apocalyptic universe. Now, I'm going to try to make a very brief summary of the story. You are Surf. He's the main character. Yes, he actually has a name now. He doesn't talk like in the other ones. But you are Surf. You are the leader of a tribe, one of 5 tribes, and you're the leader of the tribe called the Embryon. There are a total of 5 actual main characters that you play as, and then there's just a bunch of generic soldiers that are in your group. Like, they don't fight, in your party. But now, in the beginning of the game, the Embryon, some members of the Embryon are in battle with an enemy tribe called the Vanguards. Now, during this fight, there's a big egg-like object in the middle of the battlefield, and then what happens is, I forget exactly, I think somebody shoots the egg or something happens, then the egg actually opens up, and then there's these little beams of light that come out. But what happens is these lights kind of attack all the people on the battlefield. They like kind of just go through the bodies, like in the chest, and then what happens? Well, all the people transform into demons, and then after after the battle, because they all like kill each other, they destroy each other, and then they eat each other. So that's what happens there, and what happens after the battle is that the characters revert to their normal form. They're like, "What just happened? I don't remember anything." Hang on a sec. I had to take a sip of my coffee. Anyway, so now what happens is with the Embryon, they go back to their base, and they're like, "What are these strange markings on our bodies?" Because they each have a different mark on their body. Like, for example, Surf has it on his right cheek. Gale has it on his leg. He has it on his arm, somewhere on his arm. And they're like, "What are these?" Well, that's kind of just a symbol and that's what they use to transform into demons. Now, what's weird about Digital Devil Saga is that you got to give it time for the character development. What I mean by that is Atlas purposely made the characters robotic, 100% no personality whatsoever. In fact, they start off so robotic that they don't even use contractions. It's like when you first start the game, it's like if you talk to, I don't know, Argilla, she's like, "I cannot figure out what these markings are. I must go," that kind of thing. And then at first when you play the game, you're like, "Wow, these characters are just so static. What the hell? Why did I buy this game?" Well, guess what? It's the power to transform into demons and the usage of Atma, which is like a kind of essence that flows through the characters' bodies, because be able to transform into demons. As the game progresses, they start to get personality. They do simple things like get contractions, and then they gain personality. Like, he is like the passionate one. He's like passionate as in like he's a complete douchebag, but you can connect with him because he's one of those guys that will do anything to try to get what he truly wants. Not like in a selfish way, but think about it. Most people try to do anything they can to get what they really want. So that's why I like Heat as a character. Argilla was like the passionate one. Like, I just wanted to be normal. She's that kind of girl. Gale was always intellectual. He was always kind of robotic to begin with, but you can tell he changes a little bit. And then my favorite was Cielo. because, like I said, everybody's robotic, and then Cielo's awesome because his Atma awakens inside him, and then he becomes the funny guy. He gets the Jamaican accent and everything. It's just awesome. It's a great story, very very different from your average SMT game. So that's what I like about that game. There's also the second game, which is not that different. Actually, it's exactly the same. And now I forgot to mention, really fast. Sorry. In Digital Devil Saga 1, to customize your characters. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of the game. Is the game uses something kind of similar to the sphere grid. I hate comparing stuff to that but no, it's not exactly the same, but it has the same idea. There are battle programs called mantras, and you use the mantra grid to select one of these they're like circles that represent the mantra. Now, in Digital Devil Saga 1, there is like a big path, like there are different sections of mantras, and then although that one circle following each section has different branches of mantra. So what I mean by that is, if I, for instance, equip the Devourer mantra, and I master that, and then the next level, like that's what I call it, the next level of that type of mantra that can give me physical attacks will be available, so I can use more powerful attacks. Now, what's weird is that you have to pay for these, like you have to pay money to download these mantras, which is a little weird. But I really like the growth in this game. Reason being is because what you do is you equip the mantra. It's not like, oh, Final Fantasy 12 or something where I spent LP, I learned the skill. No, it's not like that. What you do is you equip the mantra, you fight battles, and along with winning battles, you gain experience points, and then you'll gain Atma points, and you use these Atma points to master the mantra. So when the mantra is mastered, you will learn the following skills. It'll tell you what skills you learned, and then you can equip them. Now, unlike Final Fantasy 12, where I learned fire, I can use it forever. It's like no, and I said in my Let's Talk of Final Fantasy 12, you're probably thinking, well, if you don't like the fact that the characters are all clone copies in Final Fantasy 12, why don't you mind in this game? Well, there's a reason, because each character is limited to 8 slots, so you have to strategically plan which attacks you're going to put on each character. So that's what makes it, and not only that, each character also had elemental things, like Surf was, by default, he's weak to fire, he can resist ice attacks. Now, me personally, this is just me. When I learn magic for each character, I personally just put their element. Like I learned ice for Surf, and then I'll put ice attacks on him. So that's just me. But now the mantra grid in Digital Devil Saga 2 is a lot different. Instead of just a big linear path of different branches, it's actually a big hexagonal board. And I thought that was cool because what you do is you master a mantra on that hexagon, and then the adjacent hexagons surrounding it will become available. So now I personally like the mantra grid in the second game better. Now I overall like the first game better simply because I like the setting more. Now you do have to play the first one to understand the second one. They are direct sequels. You will be lost if you play the second game first. Now one more thing about Digital Devil Saga 2 is that it uses a cool little thing called karma rings. What are those? Well, these are rings with special effects, little accessories that you can equip on each character. And for example, this ring will give you +5 strength. So you can equip that on a character, they get +5 strength. Not only that, you can also use something called some kind of gems that you find, I think, in treasure chests and winning battles. You could use those gems on the ring, and it'll enhance the effect. Now, I haven't played the game in a while, so I think more stuff, it's more complicated than that. But each ring is also limited to a certain amount of gem slots. So if you have 5 gems, you can only place 3 on that ring. You also got to think, like, what am I going to place on this ring? Then there are also gems that will add bonus effects. Like, not only will it have +3 strength, it'll have, plus 100 HP. So it's a pretty cool system, and I really like that. So that's Digital Devil Saga in a nutshell. Hang on. I love coffee. Now let's get into Persona, which is the last major series. Now, Persona is interesting because when Persona 3 came out, that's what made Shin Megami Tensei over here in America so popular. Like, Shin Megami Tensei has been very, very popular since the beginning in Japan. We didn't get the first 2 games, And now this is a little off topic, but people don't realize that Pokemon is actually a kiddie version of Shin Megami Tensei. You want to know why? Because Shin Megami Tensei came first. People don't know that because we didn't get the first two. So if I were to say play Nocturne, people would say this is like a darker version of Pokemon. No, 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 no. Pokemon is a cutesy up kitty-like Nocturne or Shin Megami Tensei in general. People don't know that, which sucks. I just had to get that out there for those who didn't know. Persona, like I said, Persona 3 is what made the series over here popular. So not only did people enjoy the Persona games, they started to realize that there are more games in the franchise besides Persona. So they started trying to do Devil Saga, Nocturne, Strange Journey, all those games. So that's Shin Megami Tensei over here. Now, while not as popular as, say, Final Fantasy, it's probably one of the most popular franchises over here now. It's one of the, I'd say, the top three series, like franchise sellers over here in America are Final Fantasy, Shin Megami Tensei, and the Tales games, which I can do a Let's Talk on those. But back to Persona. A little history on Persona. This is interesting. Persona 1, yes, we did get it. Now, it had a lot of problems. Want to know why? Well, the game was playable. The translation was horrible. Oh my god. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. There were so many typos. There were so many dialogue that made no sense at all. Sometimes it's like I might as well be reading in Japanese sometimes. Now, what was weird too, now I kind of appreciate this, but they changed a lot of the characters' designs to make them look more American. It was weird, like, I think the most notable one was that a character, Mark, was changed from his original white color to black. Now, people were wondering in the remake that Atlas was being racist, but no, because Mark was white to begin with. So that's what they did. They in the remake they kept it to the traditional Japanese style. Like it was weird in the Persona 1 PS1 version that we got, everything it was instead of like yen, it was called dollars and stuff. That was pretty cool. But no, there were so many typos. A lot of the stuff made no sense. The world map was a fucking pain in the ass. Oh my god. And I'm not gonna get into it, but people who played the game know what I'm talking about. Okay, now I don't have a lot of time left. I'm going to try to sum this up as quickly as possible and try to avoid making it 3 parts. I don't think that's possible. Like I said, Persona 1, horrible translation. For instance, towards the beginning, at the very beginning of the game, there's a character named Nate. A little later on, after you complete the first dungeon, his butler, his name is Alfred. He gets killed. This is not a spoiler. It happens in the first fucking 10 minutes of the game. So what happens is he gets killed by some of the demons. So and then this is a PS1 game, so there's no voices. So he walks up to his butler, his body, and he's like, Alfred! But instead of having multiple E's, it's Alfred, like, it's ALFREDDDDD. So it's not Alfred, it's Alfred. What is that? What is that? Oh my god, they fucked up on that game. Now I like the battle system. It was okay. So sometimes it was hard to, like, the menu navigation was weird. It's simple things like that made the game kind of a pain in the ass. What else was there? There was a lot of things that was wrong. I mean, I overall liked it. I tolerated it, but some of this stuff was just, ugh, God. Sorry. I mean, it's not a horrible game. It's not. I like it over. I do like the story. So people who are like, oh yeah, Shin Megami Tensei old version versus the new versions. If you're a fucking like crazy ass horny over Persona 1 and 2, I liked Persona 1. I love the remake. Overall, the remake was awesome. It still had a few problems, but I liked it. And I'm gonna have to stop it here, guys. I'm so sorry, but I'm not one of those people that could do unlimited time. So part 3 will be very, very short. So just bear with me. I'm not going to do a big intro every time. That's what I didn't do with this one. So just part 3 will be up soon. It's, like I said, not going to be crazy long because I just got to finish talking about Persona. Now, peace out. Hope you're looking forward to part 4.